And welcome, Cincinnati Soccer Talkers, to episode 118 of CST. Glad you're with us tonight here on Facebook and YouTube. Lots to discuss. We're going to talk about the 2-0 loss to Louisville City FC over the weekend. We'll also briefly recap the 3-1 win over the Pittsburgh Riverhounds in the U.S. Open Cup. And, of course, we're going to be talking about Tuesday's festivities in the city of Cincinnati. It should be a fun one. If you're watching us live on YouTube and Facebook, well, it's a little bit of a different feel and look tonight. We're all in the same room together for the first time ever. Brad, Bill, and I actually recorded a podcast last year together, but this is the first time, like, the main five of us who started out however many moons ago are in this together tonight. So it's going to be a good one. Make sure you chime in on Facebook and YouTube. We're going to be monitoring the comments. Of course, you can always email us feedback at CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com. I don't have my fancy soundboard this week, so I can't play the cool episode captain music that we normally have, but we got to give it up to Angela Cardwell. Angela, thank you so much for being our episode captain here, the CST special, live at Brad Weigel's house. Hello, Brad. How are you?
Only the finest for you, Subes.
Oh, thank you very much. It's good to be here. Thank you for hosting so kindly. Appreciate it.
No, dude. Thanks for coming. It's it's a long way we've come, 2.5 years,
Yes.
man. I'm excited for it.
Really, we should thank your wife, Ashley, for letting us do
She
this.
is a saint.
Yeah, she is. We're glad to be here. Thank you, Brad, for hosting. Looking forward to getting your thoughts on the 2-0 loss to Louisville and looking ahead, of course, to what should be a fun day Tuesday in Cincinnati. Good to have you back. Bill Wolf, the Wolfman. Again, I don't have – oh, that's my wolf howl. It wasn't very good, but
thank you.
Thanks for being here, Bill. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
So, very excited. This is a great event. Thanks for having us, Brad. We really appreciate it. And appreciated the veggie burgers and everything.
Telling you what.
Yes.
Do it up right in this Weigel household.
That's right.
So good to have you back, Bill. Yosef Sagai, what's going on, yo?
It's been a while, hasn't it?
It has been a while. We're not used to doing this, being so close to one another. So I'm just going to send out this gentle reminder now. Make sure we're talking into our microphones.
Oh, should I? Yeah. I mean, I should only talk into the microphone, but not cough into it, right?
Don't cough into it.
That's
if you're going to do that, let's do that
That's an
elsewhere.
80s radio crossover.
We don't have that cute little
that, like 3 people will
mute
think it's
button.
funny, but it's fine.
Yeah, we don't have the mute, and we also don't have the ability to not be on screen.
So talk into the mic, Bill.
Yes. Talking to the mic. Got it.
And last but not least, Brian Weigel over on the end. We saved the best win for the last. I'm kidding, Brad. I'm sorry.
No, I'm going to start charging you rent.
Brad, how's it going?
Well, he's not kidding, Brad. It's kind of weird. I'm not sure what to do with my hands. You know, I'm kind of looking at this camera here. Normally I could, like, hide if I need to. Now I'm just kind of like, please don't do anything dumb or, you know, maybe Yosef picks his nose. But the cool part is it looks like Bill has, like, a halo above his head with this light here. So he is not God, but he's pretty darn close, right?
I'm the only saint in the group.
It's funny because Bill's like the best person out of all of us. But anyway.
We'll call him whatever he wants to be called after fielding that phone call from Don Garber this week.
Yeah, I guess we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. Let's first and foremost start off with the 2-0 loss to Louisville City FC, match which we thought would go a little bit differently, considering that Louisville City had played midweek and played a lot of their starters during the match against the who did they play? Oh, they played Nashville. No, they played St. Louis in the Open Cup.
Yep.
A lot of those same guys played on Saturday night against FC Cincinnati, and you really couldn't tell that they had played midweek. Obviously, FC Cincinnati goes down early in the match. Cameron Lancaster once again scores a goal. And what I'd like to call with my 10-year-old boys team, crap goals. That was a crap goal. Evan Newton will tell you it's a crap goal. When your wall falls apart like that, you really don't stand much of a chance. What do you make of the first goal, gentlemen?
Well,
Got to be the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, like.
Well, let's start before the wall, okay? So the goal came because of a free kick, and the reason why we had been leaving so much space and people have been able to run at the box over the first 15 minutes or so is we kind of had a little bit of a lack of, I don't want to say positional awareness, but we just kept, every time we lose a ball, you'd have 3 guys trying to chase it down, and we lost our defensive shape a lot. And I feel like we've almost had a regression there where we've been getting better and better and better with that, but for some reason yesterday, I don't know if it was just the yips or what, of course then you have the mess in the wall. But I think that was kind of the biggest glaring thing taking out of the whole game was just how bad our defense was, at least in that first 45.
Yeah, I think when you look back on, and a lot of people are going to talk about, the crap goal with the wall breaking up like it did, but I thought the midfield really struggled on Saturday night. Richie Ryan didn't have his best game in an FC Cincinnati jersey. Kenny Walker, we love the guy, but I think we would all agree that was probably not his finest moment in an FC Cincinnati. Arguably, maybe the worst we've ever seen him play. It was a rough night for Kenny Walker. Got subbed off in the middle of the second half. He'll be the first one to tell you he didn't play well either. So, what do we make of the midfield? And I mean, where do we go?
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, Alan Koch tried to make an adjustment at some point there. He dropped Kenny back. We ended up more into like a 4-2-3-1. It felt like Ledesma went out wide, and that's basically the setup we had going into our first game with Louisville, and we lost. And it wasn't any better the second time. So it was a little disappointing that the midfield was getting run over, and that we ended up dropping defensive in a state that really just kind of left Koenig out there by himself.
And I think that's what Koenig is meant for. I think he does really well at being the striker who is causing problems, not necessarily like capitalizing on chances, but he is the one making runs. He's the one taking up space, and it's important that he has his opportunities, right? But because we went down so early, I felt like the whole team had to track back, and it's Louisville. I mean, they're the side that we need to beat, but at the same time, I'm not gonna sell out the team because they've had a positive track of success. So, yeah, I'd rather them put that up on a team that really would be a statement for us to have that win, but at the same time, I'm not going to sell them out for not having that win, I guess.
No. You have to, because you can't have these games like this. This is like a double point game.
Yeah.
You lose this game, but you it's not really conceding 3. It's like conceding 6.
Yes.
I'm tired of, and I understand. Like I watched the game again. I didn't feel like we played as bad, but we just came out a little flat, and then we just made the mistakes that we just uncharacteristically, didn't do. Like Boehner turning the ball over, Richie Ryan turning the ball. These guys don't do that every weekend.
No.
Weekend.
Kenny Walker.
Kenny Walker, exactly.
It was more of a quality issue to me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we've gotten bailed out the first couple games of the year by making some amazing plays to score some goals. And then Saturday, we just had some clunkers, like Welshman, I think 8 or 9 times out of 10 he heads up ball in the back of the net.
Yep.
Ledesma had some just horrific corners.
He had more field goals on free kicks than he did on target.
Yeah. I mean, I've just never seen, like, the guys. I'm not sure there's a ton that Alan Koch could have actually done Saturday to make a huge difference. They all uniformly played bad. Like, Walker, Ryan, they're giving the ball away. Actually, the only 2 guys I thought might have played well were Barrett and Deckel, but, like,
yeah.
Ledesma, I didn't even know Corbin Bone played the game till about the 85th minute where I saw him go outside and pick up a ball. But I'm just saying, like, I'm not picking on him specifically.
Sure.
I'm just saying that uniformly, they all had a tremendous lack of quality that has bailed them out so much this year. And I'm not so much panicked about the performance for long term, but, like, you can't have that against your arch rival at home in front of 26,500 people.
Yeah.
On a couple days before they're going to supposedly announce MLS. I mean,
Sure.
These guys should have come out guns blazing.
Yeah, you're right.
So you kind of look at statistically, and I love Ken Hedker for doing all his mathematics.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it, but
when you look at it, the XG, expected goals. Now, of course, we didn't have any shots on frame. I think that's misleading. We had a free kick off the post. You had a couple of headers from Kanan and Welshman that just went a little off target. Louisville had a 1.4 and FC Cincinnati had a 1.25. So, it wasn't like extremely far off, but as you said, the crap goals, the game could have gone either way. I think there was a chance in the second half. If that Ledesma free kick at the 57th minute, if that goes in,
it's a different ball
different game.
Yep.
Different. So I don't want to kill these guys. Like, we said, I made a joke about a field goal for Ledesma. He had some very good looks, and he was trying everything. He was moving inside, moving outside. We just couldn't get it to click tonight. Give credit to Louisville. Give credit to James O'Connor. He got one assistant coach throughout the game. It's almost like he's a little bit in our head.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Brian just stole my line, but we'll leave it there.
Yeah, you were talking about that at the barbecue. my apologies, buddy.
It's all right, Brian.
I just had the good line to throwing out the May and all that stuff. But hey.
No, I felt like during the match, once that exchange happened, I feel like it wasn't that long after that they subbed out Lancaster and almost kind of shut up shop. They were going to make it tough for FC Cincinnati to break them down. Once they had a 1-goal lead, you knew it was going to be tough anyway. Because that's what they do. And we saw the last time they came to Nippert Stadium. Made it really difficult, and we were just throwing crosses into the box, hopeful crosses into the box, and couldn't get on the end of them. I think the biggest disappointment for me was with such a big weekend for FC Cincinnati, you wanted to start it off right. Mm-hmm. I know everybody's excited for what's supposedly about to happen tomorrow there in Cincinnati, but you wanted to start the weekend off on the right foot, and that unfortunately was not it, especially against our rival who they just have our number right now. And we said it on the show last week. We thought FC Cincinnati should win, considering that they were going to play a lot of their guys in the Open Cup. But you honestly couldn't tell that those guys played 90 minutes on Wednesday night, and that was what was so disappointing for me.
Yeah, they looked strong, and I think my biggest disappointment was just the fact that we had 0 shots on goal.
Yeah, that's...
For a team that's been scoring 3 and 4 goals a game for the last several games, we were one of the strongest offenses in the league, and then we go out there in a home game against our rival, and we get 0 shots on goal. I think that was what probably struck me as the most disappointing. And I know, a couple of those were like mere inches. Right, and really, if both, Welshman's header, Ledesma's free kick, if those two had gone in, right, we're talking a 2-2 game, a completely different game. But still, we got outmuscled, we got outplayed.
You want to say something there, Brad? See, I'm not used to seeing the reactions in person like this, so I don't know how to do this. Man, it's different.
Sold out.
I think
I don't know. Watching me at all times.
Just hearing, I know, right? Just hearing Brian across the way, I feel like he might be. Kind of think what I'm thinking, but like we had several shots that were blocked by some of their defenders, and that I think not 9 times out of 10 would be on frame, and if not goals. That's what happens when you play a 3-man back line. Now, a lot of times they drop 5 back, and they really clog that lane, and they block a lot of shots. And I think and you never want to have 0 shots on frame. That's pretty bad. But if there's kind of a misleading stat, this game, I think that might be it. You talked to Ken Hedger, and we barely got outdone on XG. Yeah. And I think I know a lot of people are really mad about this, but I watched the game back today. I really didn't feel like we were that far off. I just feel like we just had an off night.
In the first 25 minutes of the second half, I thought we were going to get it. I really did. You see, like they had 3 fouls around the 60th minute mark where Louisville was getting frustrated. We were possessing the ball. We outpossessed them by 10% in the second half. So, people have been dogging Coach Koch. I've been one of his loudest critics. I thought he made a decent change. At some point, your guys have to execute, and they just didn't. No. There's a lot made about the effort. Maybe one guy I can think of maybe had a suboptimal effort. I just think we had a bad day. Tiger Woods has a bad day. I have a bad day doing this sometimes. It happens, but it's just amplified when it's at this level, 27,000 fans versus Louisville.
Yeah.
You know who had a good night, I feel? Johan DeMay. And I'm not making fun of him right now.
No, you're right,
listen
actually.
to me. You know what? He knew that we were playing poorly out there. You could hear Allen on TV. You could hear Johan. You know what? I'm glad they were pissed off and almost got kicked out of the game. How many times as Cincinnati fans here do we look and we see our coaches sit on their hands when our guys are playing bad?
We know Marvin Lewis is still sitting on his hands.
Marvin Lewis, you know what? Good. I'm glad Johan got kicked out of the game. I don't think he was wrong. He should have given him, crap. He should have been all over him. Allen should have gone all over him. I really don't think that was a big deal. I'm glad somebody fired up. I'm glad somebody's not happy with this. It's one thing if you sit there and you go, oh, we got beat. Screw it. Allen doesn't want to get beat. Johan doesn't want to get beat. Good for Yo. I know he doesn't want to walk out in front of 26,000 fans. I know that's got to be, quite embarrassing. But dude, I will back him up time and time again if he does that.
Well, we're monitoring some of the comments on Facebook and YouTube tonight, so make sure you chime in and have your say. Matt Atkins says, cut the whole team. Louisville is just better. You're forgetting this.
So
we love you, Matt.
there's an FC Cincinnati Squirrel here on Facebook posting.
Goodness.
And it's killing me right now.
So if you didn't know this or you are off social media, which sometimes I wish I am, apparently there was a squirrel running around at halftime. It was halftime, correct, Bill?
Yeah, it was halftime. Apparently, I was talking to one of the people from the front office today. Apparently, the squirrel was out there in the first half.
Oh, okay.
But it was underneath some like bleachers or something. It was kind of not in the way, and they were monitoring it in the first half. And then in the halftime, it actually ran out on the field. And
interesting.
Several people decided that really should be the FCC player of the game.
Yeah.
Man of the match.
Yeah,
Boston Brazil.
I should be better to know the person who made that tweet, but the man of the match tweet with him, like, you know.
Andrew? What's his name?
Does the squirrel have a name?
No, the guy who made it.
Oh.
The person who made the tweet, not the squirrel.
Gotcha.
It was fantastic, though. And
Yeah.
it's oddly sad that was the man of the match.
I think
But it's
Andrew
okay.
Torres, maybe?
You never want the squirrel to be the big storyline from the match.
But you got
Unfortunately,
a
it
lot-
was.
You got a lot of cheers. So
Did go
very
out
happy
of
for
cheers.
him.
Kudos to Matt Schisler for escorting the squirrel
Squirrel
off the
whisperer.
premises. He's never going to live that one down. The squirrel whisperer. I love that. Mike Berryman on YouTube says we have a new 12th man.
Yep.
So, anyway, FC Cincinnati lose 2-0 to Louisville. Louisville had a game in hand, so they're now, I believe, ahead of them in the standings in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, they are.
But look, if they go on and win the next 9 games, which they are certainly capable of doing, we're going to look back on this match and say, ultimately, it's going to come down to, can this team beat this team in the postseason?
Sure. But I think to a point, we have a pretty easy schedule of games coming up. Of course, we go at New York, at North Carolina, home versus Bethlehem, and I think we play both Canadian teams. So we got to run off some wins. You know, we dug ourselves a hole. Now you have to go and beat people, or we're going to have to go play in Louisville.
Yeah, that is a good point. Sandwiched in between that New York Red Bulls game and the North Carolina FC game is now going to be an Open Cup game. Why are you looking at me like that, Brad?
I'm just laughing at it.
Oh, okay. Well, apparently at one point FC Cincinnati was going to be on the road at Minnesota, and that turned into a big snafu. And now, hey, they're hosting another MLS team. That's some exciting news.
It's kind of like how Boston signed up to be on today's show, and at the last second he pulled out.
Yeah.
It's too good. No, I'm joking. No, seriously though, we love Boston.
Yeah, where are you, Boston?
Yeah.
Hope you're watching.
I know.
It's
me too.
amazing people get paid an exorbitant amount of money to not screw that up.
Yeah, seriously, you're right. At least we filled out our paperwork correctly on the FC Cincinnati side. So, real quickly, basically, we were drawn third. Is that correct? So Minnesota was drawn first. In reality, since they had some typographical errors or just somebody, whatever, messed up on their paperwork, they didn't want to host. So we ended up, I guess, flip-flopping.
Yeah.
So,
A lot of people thought that should have been redrawn, and you know what?
No, because they screwed up and they said they could host.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then they actually couldn't host.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Open Cup rules are actually really clear on that.
Yeah.
I mean, they basically say that if the home team is unable to host, then the other team gets the opportunity to host. So
Yeah.
once the draw had occurred and once they realized that they weren't able to host, even though they had filled out the paperwork, it became our game.
I mean, they just it's a conspiracy. The U.S. Open Cup's out to help us. You know, they want to see more than 300 people in the stands.
Oh my
X, Y,
God.
and Z.
Boston's getting torn up
Yeah.
on social media right now.
Yes, he is.
Poor
I
guy.
guess they're having a wife and all. And
Ooh.
like responsibilities.
I'm not going there. Yosef went there. I'm definitely not going there.
He's
so.
the only
It was-
non-married
it was
man
his
at this
own
table.
fault.
Yeah. Everyone
For
of
what
us
it's
is
worth.
married.
Yeah.
I mean, we deal with Boston to hang out with Kana, right? I mean,
You're fine.
I just think he needs to respect his wife a little more, and he'd be allowed to play with us.
I don't know, dude.
Oh,
she
man.
made some pretty good taco dip tonight.
Yes, she
I'm not
did.
gonna
We love you,
go
Connor.
after
More
Connor.
than
My
Boston.
biggest gripe with the Open Cup draw was the gentleman who had the microphone in his hands and waited for about
I know.
five minutes to start
Doesn't
using
know
it.
what
Like,
to do
It was
with his
worse
hands.
than me testing my microphone
Did
today.
anybody see the the Transformers in the background
yeah, that looked awesome.
with their old Nike boots?
That was pretty cool.
I'm excited. Fourth MLS team in 2 seasons here. Are they the most well-known? Do they have the most stars? No. But it's still exciting to see them come here. Now, I'm very excited to see what kind of course, hashtag attendance. I want to see a win, but I really want to see what type of crowd comes out from Minnesota. We don't have Chicago. We don't have the Crew.
Yep.
So it's going to be really interesting. The prices are a little bit higher.
$25 for a Bailey
ticket. I think 40 for midfield. So
55 for club.
55 for club. So honestly, I think it's a good test for us to
get ready.
Yeah, to prove Fort Worth. So.
Yeah, I was actually kind of wondering that. That was in my head the other day was, these prices we're seeing for the Open Cup, is this next year's prices when we're in the, some other league?
Some other league.
What would you be
NASL?
referring to?
Speculative.
NASL. This is about the time where we give a shout out and thanks to our big time supporters. We want to give a shout out and thanks to Tim Pronsel with King's Hammer, Matt Adamczyk, Mama Subes, Pat Suberling, thank you very much, Brian Malone, Jamie Smed, Mike Hudson, Jonas Tom, Jack Emery, Mike Bowman, Jesse Gill, Kathleen Francis, Jesse King, and Teresa Everidge. Thank you so much for your support. If you're interested in supporting us here at Cincinnati Soccer Talk, you can log on to cincinnatisoccertalk.com/support. Apparently, the FCC Squirrel is watching us live tonight. That is good news. So, Squirrel.
Squirrely fall.
We made it.
Yeah.
We made it.
We did make it. So, let's talk a little bit about last week's Open Cup win. FC Cincinnati goes on the road to Pittsburgh, and they win 3-1 over the Riverhounds. Again, they have now advanced to I believe it's the 4th round for the 2nd straight year, if I'm not mistaken there, Bri.
You're right.
A 3-1 win really should have been a clean sheet. Just unfortunately, they kind of gave up another bad goal late. But the fantastic goals by FC Cincinnati, Lance Lang with a beautiful free kick. What did you make of the Open Cup match? And I guess we can kind of tie that into now that we're going to be going to Minnesota or hosting Minnesota in the next round.
Yeah, I think we got a good draw with Minnesota. I think that was, of all of the MLS teams we could have gotten, that's the best one, or easiest one, I should say. But what a
knock on wood.
what a coming out party for Emery
gun.
Rushman. Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, Brian was his biggest fan, right?
Who? Emery?
Rushman.
Oh, I love Emery.
And I think it was really great to see him have a stage where he could perform and really put up, because tactically we're going to play Koenig a lot, we're going to play Emery a good bit, and we don't really have like that one striker that's going to start consistently, right? We have a mix of people who are going to make an impact, but that game was, it's Bob Lilly, that's defining for us.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we finally beat a Bob Lilly coach team. How many tries? Man.
Dude, he was pissed. I loved watching him on sidelines.
You got embarrassed.
Yeah, no, it was good. Okay, so it's the game plan that I was hoping that we'd apply for Louisville, getting up the field quick, attacking their defenders, being able to pass around a little bit. So it was nice to be able to see us execute differently this season. So that's a positive. And we finished our chances. Of course, the first goal, Jimmy's goal, was great. The Lance Lang free kick was amazing. Of course, the second goal, Haber's goal was, I think Emery shot it and then deflection, and Haber, put it back cleanly. So this is a team who ranks 20% or finishes 20% of their chances, which is tops in the USL. Probably now going to fall this week, sadly. But we got to do that if we're not going to get. I think we only had 10 shots. So we're going to have to finish if we hope to pull out some of these. And that's what's going to need to happen versus Minnesota. I doubt Minnesota's going to let us play with possession. So you're going to need those guys who have the quality to finish.
Yeah, well, we're going to see, my guess is something that we saw very, very much.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was going to say, this is going to be a game right for the taking, because Minnesota doesn't have another match for like 18 days.
Really?
They have a World Cup break. They have a bye week going into the World Cup break. They're going to be missing one or two players. So, this is a chance for us to really go out and get, another trademark win. This is absolutely a chance. Now I'm excited to see who Coach goes with. Is he going to reward the guys who won in Pittsburgh, or is he going to go with the guys who are, quote-unquote, starting 11?
And you got to think about how he's going to play the 5 internationals again. You know?
Yeah, we only put 15 16
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, first time we saw Sem DeVitt get some action this season.
Played well.
I mean-
it did very well.
Yeah, is Amy Obi, is he a green or not? Green card?
No,
or not?
he's
So
no.
he's Canadian. Danny Koenig's Canadian. So all of a
British.
sudden you're gonna yeah.
Haber's Canadian.
International.
Yeah, good job there.
So I'm not sure he can bring on like quality players like Ledesma or.
You
I'm not
can.
sure if there's enough spots.
You can because you're going to have 2 forwards on the roster anyway. Both will be international just because of how we stack up, and then you're going to have at least 2 center backs most likely as internationals, whether they start or not. So that's 4 of your guys. So is it Ryan that you're going to play in the midfield, or where are you going to go? Haber probably. So
Who's out for the next game, right? I mean, we had Deckel's out. What about Manu? Did he get an extra
I don't
yellow?
think
Is
so.
he
Not
at 5?
yet, no.
Okay, is he at 4?
He's getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprised he's lasted this long.
yeah, I thought he was about to get one.
Yeah, but it makes you wonder. I mean, I know he's an international, but the fact that Deckel can't play Saturday, does that kind of push Allen to move him into a position to play on the Wednesday after?
See, we thought that with Lasso, though, and then Lasso didn't play this weekend. That kind of surprised me. But it's weird. But, I mean, the good news is our flexibility with the roster, like, we play the bottom of our roster, and it's still a fantastic team. We're playing Russell Cicerone. Like, come on, dude.
Who's been playing very well.
Exactly.
Phenomenal.
If he had a
Exactly.
better final
That's
third ball.
That's my point. Like last year we were playing a lot of players who probably wouldn't have a start in USL.
Eric Stevenson started a U.S. Open Cup game.
But
Dude,
now
Kadeem
we-
Dakers and Aiden Quinn
Aiden
started.
Quinn, yeah.
yeah, now
Dominguez started against the Fire.
Now we're debating a team of players who could easily start for like half of this league. So anyway, oh, by the way, happy birthday, Emmanuel Ledesma.
Oh, that's right.
Belated birthday Thursday. And hi, Mom. I said happy birthday.
So notice he gave Manu the happy birthday before his mom. Priorities.
Or
there.
no,
It's
I
not
think
her
Mom
birthday,
told
but
him.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. See, again, this is what happens when you don't podcast in the same room.
She's got a whole list.
Oh, that's right.
It's on
That's
her.
right.
Now it's a Google Doc.
Is it really?
Yeah,
It's
she
upgraded
does.
to a Google Doc.
Yeah.
That's not true at all. Bro. It's an envelope. You know my mom doesn't do Google Docs. Anyway, stop watching, Mom.
Envelope.
That's great. Oh, man. We're getting a lot of questions here on social media regarding tomorrow's announcement, which we'll get to here in just a moment. I started to say this briefly a minute ago that my guess is we're going to see Alan Koch set up very defensive against Minnesota and hope to kind of get one on the counter. Very similar to what we saw last year with the Crew. It's not going to be. We're not going to be, playing a 4-4-2 diamond. I don't think.
No.
You
I think
think
we're
we'll
gonna be-
see the 3-5-2 come back?
No, because you're
There'd
international
be
spots.
3 internationals, then if you'd have to have a backup center back, unless
I
you
think-
played Boehner in the middle, and then you had Lang and Blake
Yeah.
Smith on
Well,
the
I guess
wings,
you're right
but
there, Bill. Yeah, Boehner or
You play Boehner in the middle
Hoyt.
of the 3, and then you could have Lang on the left.
You do Lasso on the
Well, now
left.
you
Nope,
can put
you can't do
Boehner
that
at left
either.
back because apparently he played there over the
No, you
weekend.
can't do that either. It's too many options.
No,
This team
it was a
wasn't
joke,
set up
Brad,
for the
but
Open Cup.
There we go.
This team was not set up for the Open Cup.
No, we have enough quality, but we just where it stacks up, like where we have too many center backs, too many forwards, where it just eats up all your international spots. So I see that point.
Well, we're going to see, hopefully, some guys like Will Seymour, who I believe he's dual citizen, English and
Yep, he's
from
mhm.
America. So, he's going to get some minutes in the Open Cup.
Mhm.
And by the way, has played well when he's been in there. When his number has been called, I think he's done really well in the midfield for FC Cincinnati. Of course, I'm saying that because Will is a Manchester United fan, so we have to stick together around these parts. But, no, we'll see him quite a bit. My guess is we'll see Cicerone as well. I mean, the guy has played – what?
It's a 0 for trophies this year.
You have no room to talk, Spurs fan.
Real quick, I think the guy we're really missing that should be a big shout out of this game was Michael LaHood. For how he just snuffed out everything in the midfield. He was a calming presence. How many times did he take a touch, shield himself from a defender? I mean, it was really fun to see.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to see him a lot more in the Open Cup, and I can't wait to start seeing him in the 11 every weekend. I think he's right now. Probably, I imagine Coach Kotz says, "Hey, you're my guy for the OSM Cup."
Yeah.
But just I think he's going to be a stellar addition when we get him every week.
Yeah, and we know we're still a ways out with this guy, but Tyler Gibson coming back from his ankle injury. At least he's on the field doing some rehab. It'll be nice to get him back into the mix as well there in midfield. We were really counting on him before the season started, and then unfortunately had the leg break there down in IMG. But you add him to the mix with these midfielders, and I think you've got some opportunities there for FC Cincinnati going forward. So, so June 6th, Minnesota United coming to Nippert Stadium. So get your tickets, fccincinnati.com. We want to know, we want to see the place sold out. Pack it. It'll be a good test to see where we stand regarding, what we were about to potentially find out tomorrow there at the festivities going on there. So I guess we can kind of transition into that because I'm sure that's what a lot of people want to talk about here tonight.
What are you even doing down here night before work?
Yeah.
Why are you down here? There's nothing.
Why am I here?
I don't know.
I came here because Brad invited me to a cookout at his house,
Yeah.
and I'm not one to turn down an invitation. Just ask my wife. Anyway.
You gonna come crash with me, man? Like, I have a couch you can crash on. Like,
That's right. You do have your own place now.
Yeah.
Probably not. Not going to lie.
Mama Soobs. Nick is in town if you haven't found out yet.
She's watching live. Hi,
He'll
Mom.
be there in about 45, 50 minutes.
I will be there. Leave the door open, please, Mom. Thank you. She's going to be very mad that she found out via this podcast. I'm a busy guy. What can I say?
Mama, I did invite you to the party tonight, so.
Anyway, let's move on.
You just say hi, Mom, and tell all of her favorite players happy birthday, and then it works out great. That's how fathers, mothers, and sons work.
Patty Barrett.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Let's not go there.
I'm so confused.
Oh, we move on. So tomorrow, FC Cincinnati has announced that there will be.
She said doors are locked.
Brad, can I stay here?
She's the best.
Oh.
I think she's the best. She's the best.
Well, it's because she got thrown out at Louisville like you did.
Yes. She's my accomplice.
You're a
Streamer
member of the
battalion.
Streamer Battalion,
Yes.
yes. So let's move on. FC Cincinnati and Major League Soccer announced that there will be an event tomorrow at Rheingeist. They didn't say what it was going to be, but it will be about the future of soccer in Cincinnati.
An MLS major announcement.
Yeah. We can all go ahead and assume what that means. We're very excited. There's a reason why I'm here in town. Do we want to talk, how do we go about talking about this?
I mean, I assume it's about a stadium in Newport, right? Yeah. Right? I'm just saying. This isn't at Smoke Justice, so I think we all can assume that it's going to be a nice little fun day in the West End. With
Matt Atkins says he's watching the invite from Newport.
I bet he is. I bet he is. No. And I just hope we see some of our favorite, soccer personalities in town tomorrow. I'm pretty excited about the future announcement. Partying in Rheingeist with some of our best friends. You're just dying right now.
I'm sorry.
Thug
It's my mom's thing with the birthdays, and Richie Rhines is on the 30th of May. Happy birthday, Richie.
That's an early birthday on Wednesday there.
We gotta. That's what
It's
I'm
off the rails.
laughing.
So, hashtag Major League Soccer. What are we going to be? 24, 26?
26.
26 Major League Soccer franchise. So, hopefully,
But
cross our fingers.
Brian Strauss said 2019, right? He reported
Yeah,
2019.
he did. He said that this is going to be the 26th team of Major League Soccer, and they're going to start play next year.
So-
24th to start.
Crazy.
How about this? Damn it! About damn time Cincinnati got something good, right?
About time we advanced out of a Final Four, right?
I'm just saying, this city is going gangbusters, and they recognized, the leaders in our community are putting their money where their mouth is. I'm pretty stoked about this. I think it's gonna be a home run. Even though I know the Reds ownership wants to do well, they're suffering, and the Bengals ownership doesn't really care if they win or lose. We got a couple. They don't.
Marvin Lewis still sitting on his hands.
They don't care. Come on, guys. it's about time we get an ownership group who sees Cincinnati on their shirt and wants to do well, and they put their money where their mouth is, and they're going to invest in the community, and they're going to pay taxes, and they're going to develop, and I'm just pumped. I can't wait to see how this roster builds out, and see how they're going to jump from USL to MLS, and I can't wait to see the stadium and how they're going to be able to make this thing not just MLS. But you've got a high potential for NWSL, which I'm so
one thing at a time. But I'm with you. Yeah,
I know. But you got
Development Academy,
NWSL.
Yeah,
you got Development Academy. You got how all this is going to filter down to the local soccer groups and soccer communities and the clubs, and it's going to benefit everybody. It's going to cast a wide net.
Yeah.
And versus an ownership group about 2 hours north of us who doesn't give a rat's butt about it.
Yeah,
We've got an ownership group who wants to make this whole city awesome and develop and benefit us for years and years and years. And little Brian can have the opportunity to play. And
he didn't have the patience for it, but we'll see. No, I'm joking. It's
he'd be a good goalie.
Yeah, inside
Use
joke
his
there.
hands.
Use them hands. No, I think we're just ready for this to be over.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
I think we're excited it's happened. I think we all knew it was going to happen. And I think we're also excited that we can just focus on what's on the field now. After we get this locked down, we don't have to worry about all the BS surrounding there. We don't have to battle the Detroit FC Ultras that are just saying how crappy we are because we want to go MLS. I'm excited to get this over and done with. It's been 5-6 months, and now we can focus 100% on getting our guys to the finish line.
Yeah, except it's not over; it's beginning.
Oh, that's true. That's true. But
let's talk about that a little bit. Brad, you did a great piece over at CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com about the timeline. So what's next for FC Cincinnati moving forward?
Well, if you haven't gotten onto CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com in the last week, there's been a lot of great stuff. There's going to be a lot of great stuff coming up. But like I was telling you about, one of the coolest things I'm excited about is how we're going to build this team. And not to slight our guys on our current USL roster because I think they're awesome, but I think we're going to see a lot of stuff coming out in the next 8 months that are going to build this team. We are lucky that May
28th.
So 29th will be announcement. I want to say Minnesota, when they got announced, it was like August.
Yeah, they were announced a year before that for the following year. Yeah, but they got moved up a year.
So so our club's kind of understood what's going on. They've hired a technical director, but when you talk about what's coming up, the summer transfer window for European clubs is coming up here soon. You could see something, maybe a couple DPs, designated players, this summer, probably June, July.
We should probably explain what a DP is because there's a lot of folks who don't know what a designated player is. Major League Soccer allows for 3 designated players. Basically, these are world class.
Then they allow for like 7.
No, they just when you want to sign somebody, they just add a DP.
Yeah. So basically, a high-priced player, usually coming from one of the European leagues or possibly South American league. These are really, really, really good players that command a high salary.
Mm. So yeah, we could see some DPs. I don't know what the salaries off the top of my head, but you could see a couple of players like LAFC sign Carlos Vela.
Yep.
Atlanta 2 years ago signed Hector Villalba out of Argentina.
Bastian Schweinsteiger, Chicago.
Yep.
An example of a DP is Bastian Schweinsteiger. I hope and I believe the expectation of our club is to not sign a older DP because we don't need a ticket signing or we don't need a player like Wayne Rooney to come in just to sell tickets.
Right.
I fully expect our front office to go in and get some DPs or young DPs from South America or Europe who are young who we can possibly sell because the league's changing right now.
Yeah.
And people complain a lot. I feel like we can buy some players that we can develop, move on. One of the key dates that I wanted to talk about, we're going to start seeing some movement after the MLS draft. You'll probably start seeing some players come in. You'll have an expansion draft probably about, I would say, a couple
Late
weeks.
December?
Late December,
Mm-hmm.
a week or two after the after the season's over, after MLS Cup.
Couple days, honestly. Because right now you have the MLS Cup Finals on the 8th.
The 8th, yeah.
So
I'm
11th.
estimating the 11th would be the MLS Expansion Draft, which each MLS team gets to hold back 11 players, and then also that does not include Generation Adidas or homegrown.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll get to pick 5 players. In the past, a lot of teams have traded those assets to accumulate more assets. So that's something that I would doubt that we get to hold on to all 5 of those. But that's a way we can accumulate some players. Like last year, LAFC signed or got Lawrence Simon for 2 of their picks, which is huge. Yeah. And I think the big date that everybody's looking forward to will be the MLS Super Draft. So the MLS always holds a Super Draft with the United Soccer Coaches Convention.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really cool for us this year, it's going to be in Chicago. So I think it's going to be right around the
second week of January.
Yeah, second week of January. I think we're shooting kind of for the 11th, which should be a Friday. So hopefully we can maybe do a CST bus up there soon.
It's also going to mean for an earlier preseason as well.
Yeah. I mean, because instead of starting late March, you're going to be first week of March for the season. So a lot going on.
When we were down in IMG, that was week 1 for us down there for FC Cincinnati. At least from a Florida perspective, they had been training a few weeks before that in town, but New England had been there for almost 2 or 3 weeks by that time when we played them, Bill.
Yeah, I mean, we were starting our preseason friendlies, and they were basically ending theirs.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're I would say they're about 2 weeks ahead of us. Is kind of how it was, and we started kind of late March, and MLS started early March.
Liam's late to the game. He says, "How is Subs in the same place as the Cincy CSTers?"
We have a hunch.
Called paid time off. Yeah. But look, it's going to be a Mama Sue's photoshopped. She's on fire tonight, guys. So look, there's a lot of people who are asking questions about who out of this group of the USL squad is going to go up. Now's not the time for that. Worry about what they can worry about, which is a USL championship. All that stuff will fall into place.
Yeah.
But if you had to name one guy that's a current MLSer, Bri.
I was just going to say, I think a lot of it matters on how well everybody plays next to each other.
Sure.
Right now, I think the obvious choice is probably Ledesma, but the only concern I have is, does he want to be in that major league contract system that they have? So I could see that being, kind of a hamper, but honestly...
He's not answering my question, though.
What'd you say?
I wanted to know, out of MLS...
Yeah.
In the expansion draft, if you had to pick one guy.
Expansion draft.
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
I didn't get that far.
Oh,
Okay.
If you had to pick one guy in Major League Soccer right now that that you don't think will be protected, that could be in the Orange and Moon, that they could select, who would that be?
Mitch Hildebrandt.
Thank you for bailing me out there, brother.
I've seen a lot of people lately, and I don't know if that is
It's not
a fruition, but a lot of people would like to see Will Trapp here in Cincinnati.
No way.
Oh, not through the
No
expansion
way.
draft.
Well, again,
But yes,
I'm
I'd
just
like
throwing
him.
names out.
Yeah, I'd like to see him, but there's no way. Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's a pretty clear indication on Ledesma and Nas
Yeah,
that they'll be there. Nas would have been playing with fire this year if we weren't so fantastic of a fan group, right? But
I guess that's true.
I think Lasso. Like, if
And
I would
Lasso,
pick one
too.
player, if I would
Yeah.
honestly pick one player that I would pretty much sign, seal, deliver, it would probably be him, just because his age. 24.
Yeah. And he has the physical ability to handle that.
Yeah,
I mean,
but I don't
SC
want to.
Dallas
I don't want
wanted
there
him,
too much
right?
out there. Yeah,
So-
yeah, he's on the board. I don't want there too much out there because there's still so much. There's so much we don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, we could say Jimmy or Kenny and all that, but we don't know how time frame in MLS has to do with that. So
Yeah, in terms of, because there's a lot of questions that come in. Time served. Like LaHood, he's played in Major League Soccer, I think, over 100 games. Would he come in under a veteran designation where they'd have to pay him so much money? So there's a lot of challenges. Though, I'm trying to rack my brain over here of your original question, man. Yeah, I used to run an MLS
I know
podcast,
you did. That's
so
why I went to you.
It's kind of killing me right now. Honestly, I love me some Waylon Francis.
Yeah,
Maybe a
that'd be a good
pacey left back, right back, maybe that we can get. I'd like to kind of save our designated player signings for your spinier team. I always say I think it's nice to have a South American number 10. Just track record, honestly, with all the different guys we have there in Major League Soccer. I think you need a general in the midfield. and then a forward. So I think those are your 3 spots for DPs, and then if you can to get a winger or a fullback maybe. But I don't know how many of those guys are honestly in your starting 11 anymore.
Another thought as well, besides just the expansion draft and who's being unprotected. I think because we're the only team potentially coming in
That's
next
huge.
year,
Mm-hmm.
right? If an American player returns to the U.S., I think we have first dibs, basically, right? So somebody like Jeff Cameron.
Well, you would think Major League Soccer tends to bend the rules for certain teams and players.
Coin flip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like Jeff Cameron, right? I mean, people have kind of brought his name
Yeah.
up a little bit as well.
So
right?
Andrew Torres said Nick Hagland. I like that.
That could be a
That could be done in a trade.
yeah.
Isn't there
he might be
another-
one that
there's
you
another
don't
s-
protect that you could pick up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's another Cincinnati, and I want to say in San Jose. It's losing my mind right now, but yeah, I like that. I like Hagland. It's a good one. But then again, he might take away from your Lasso.
Yeah.
So.
A lot of people in here on YouTube want Christian Pulisic. Not going to happen.
He's going to Spurs, guys.
Oh, gosh. Somebody else said Gareth Bale.
I think those are all jokes. I swear to God.
I would hope.
And maybe we'll get Delbridge back.
Is he an MLS player, though? I don't know.
Well, I think there's.
Is he playing down in Australia?
They're off
right.
season now.
Okay.
Down there, he didn't play very much. He was a spot player.
Well, once he got the red card, it felt like it
Yeah,
was almost
kinda.
like, yep.
I think it kind of just depends on how FC Cincinnati wants to use all 30 roster spots that you have, what youth players we want, what guys we want to farm out to maybe a USL club for a season. There's been a lot of talk about Lexington as maybe our USL affiliate or some sort of relationship there. I don't know exactly what they want. That's just a name that you heard a year ago. Don't think it'll be Louisville, folks, even though they're minor league in every aspect. Hey, just kidding. They
We
beat
have
us.
no room to
We
talk.
respect them. I was joking. We respect the heck out of them. But no, there's so many questions, and I'm pretty glad that we pulled the trigger on our technical director hire earlier and not waiting. So that shows a little foresight there with Jeff Birding on making another good move. So we'll see. It's exciting, man. I know we'll Rob and Trisha, Bill, Brad, and I, we're all talking about doing a lot of a series of stories that cover designated players. And Brad mentioned assets. Those are, targeted allocation money, general allocation money, wham, gam, thank you, ma'am.
A lot of terms you're going to
Yeah.
have to get used to.
So it's
This is not like the USL where you
Yeah.
can just pay whatever you want.
And MLS has to approve every signing, and they basically say, we actually MLS has a spectrum where they go out and evaluate players, and they have this database when they say this guy is worth this much money. So we can't necessarily go overpay players. Say Michael LaHood, maybe USL or MLS says no, you can't pay him that much money to come to you guys midseason. They have the right to do that. So interesting.
But FC
Caleb
Cincinnati
Porter.
can't.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we're not even going to go down that trail. FC Cincinnati, though, we believe it's pretty much out there that they will be the 26th team announced tomorrow at festivities there at Rheingeist and then also at Fountain Square. So we hope to see you there. I know I'm personally going to be at Fountain Square. We're hoping to do some live streaming there, provided we have some electrical power. And the limited electrical power we have, we'll try and make it work. It's going to be a good time. I'm looking forward to being at the festivities tomorrow. If you're not doing anything, if you don't have to work, you should come down and wear your orange and blue and celebrate, because this is a pretty big day for not just FC Cincinnati, but the city in general. And I didn't think about this the other day until I saw Todd Portune tweet this. And he said it's about time that that Cincinnati is a 3 pro team city again. Not since the Royals were here that we've had 3 professional sports teams
Major
here in
league,
this
yeah,
town.
major league, yeah.
Major league teams here in this town. So, it never hit me until he said that. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, not many teams have that. St. Louis doesn't have that. Indianapolis doesn't have that. So it's exciting. It shows that we are. What did he say? We have a city renaissance. I'm proud as heck to be Cincinnati today and Tuesday and every day. But yeah, I think this is going to be a dream come true. I know a lot of people are upset where the stadium went. They wanted Oakley or they wanted Newport. At the end of the day, I think this is going to be the best soccer specific stadium experience in the country. with how they're playing this out, how it's going to be right by over the Rhine. So it's going to be a lot to celebrate, not now, but over the next 30 years.
Exactly. And what kind of like ownership group? Like, there's, I said it on the news yesterday, like there's a lot of pain points in the city with ownership and requesting money from the city, right? And Carl Lindner, not even independent of FCC, but concerning FCC too, has put up a lot of money to make sure that he is the one paying for this stadium. He's the one paying for this team. He's the one putting up money to buy players like Nazmi Abadawi and Ledesma in USL. So I'm really, really happy that there's an ownership group that we can be on the same team with. Like, we feel that they understand us and they that we're on the same side.
Sure.
Whereas with Mike Brown and another, like, and the Reds ownership,
Castellini.
Yeah.
people have. I mean, I'm not trying to say, but they have less nice things to say about them, and no one has mean things to say about Lindner. So,
Did you have
It's tough
something
to
to add
beat.
there?
Yeah. No, dude, I'm pumped.
Brad had a.
Orange
I
and
just-
Blue Day
I-
tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
John
Yeah,
Cranley
so-
declared.
Yeah, so I wore my old school jersey today, and I just want to make sure that the ownership in the front office, and I honestly trust and believe that they're going to do this, but I want them to realize where this came from. You know, without FC Cincinnati showing up with the attendance that we've had so far, they wouldn't have a franchise as owners, and they wouldn't have those assets. And so I want them to realize where this came from and what's important. It's the atmosphere, it's the community, and they need to continue to maintain those things, and realize that, you know, their assets are going to appreciate over time, but it's only going to appreciate if they keep things special. And the moment they start to price people out, or the moment they start to make this thing where they try to supplement the Bailey, that's where it goes downhill. So I want them to realize what makes it important, what gets people out there. That's the Bailey. You know, people come out and watch the Bailey for 90 minutes. And so that's going to be the biggest thing. I know there's going to be some changes inevitably with MLS, but the ownership has a responsibility, an obligation, and I think they're going to do it, but they need to keep this special and important and exciting place to come to visit.
Well said.
Yeah, and I think too, just from the things we've heard from Jeff Birding throughout this whole entire process, they've always wanted this to be organic, and to see, just to go back, we were kind of talking about it earlier tonight here at the cookout, but you know, it's only been 2.5 years, and we're already here. Like, I would have never thought that when they announced the club back in August of 2015 that we'd be sitting here 2.5 years later and celebrating an expansion franchise in Cincinnati. It boggles my mind how quickly it happened. And it happened because I think the front office did a really good job of almost, I don't want to say they put it in the fans' hands, but the supporters groups, I mean, real early on, they made it known that they, you know, we're going to go to you for some of these things. And it's really worked out.
Yeah, I agree. And you know, you can look at things like the fan council, for instance, right? This is another example of where this front office and Carl Lindner, who obviously, you know, is aware of this and supports it. Our ownership group supports it. And the fact that they reach out to fans and want to talk to fans and get their opinion. The fact that we've got something going on Wednesday. There was a survey put out where they were looking for people to come in on Wednesday.
Yeah, Brian sniffed that one out.
Yep, exactly. But you know, without getting into all that, but you know, the point was, again, it's reaching out to get opinions of fans and people. So I think it's all good signs that the you know, this isn't, you know, the beginning of the end, so to speak, where we're creating walls, but it's actually an indication that, you know, it's business as usual, maybe even, you know, expanding upon it, right? Instead of just the fan council, they reached out to a larger audience now. And I think this is phenomenal. And I think, you know, it seems like it reflects all aspects of this process, from pricing to the stadium design to kits to everything. So, you know, I think you know, the signs are there that this office wants to remain organic, wants to listen to us, doesn't want to close down and you know, push people away, that we're going to continue this great tradition that Brad is, honoring with his jersey.
But we'll be here if it changes.
That's true.
So, no, we don't. I mean, we all want to grow here. We all want to be special. You see what happens in different markets. I think it's nice to shout out to Save the Crew and acknowledge what's going on up there. And I think we want to fight the fight with you guys. I think we realize that we are stronger together in this league. I think Tuesday is a day where we focus on ourselves.
Yeah.
But respectfully pick up the banner on Wednesday. So keep hell real.
Yeah. I it's a dicey situation for everybody. We want to be able to support them because I think you're right. I mean, we want to have that derby because once they go, or hopefully they don't, but if they do, then what? Now we're having to not organically create one,
Yeah, and you also want to I wish I always joke with Brad about this. Is I wish tomorrow, figuratively, we could hold hands with Sacramento, and the two clubs that really went out there with their supporters and earned it that way. I know they have some hiccups. I've been hearing a lot that they're still feeling pretty good about a new ownership group, but I think it would have felt really special if both FC Cincinnati and Sacramento. I mean, we talk about this, about the Indomitable City Soccer guys, how we kind of modeled ourselves a little bit off of them. So I think, we acknowledge that those two clubs have done some special things. We acknowledge that we've done something pretty special as well, but let's just not forget where we came from, where we want to go, and what we need to do to make sure we can get to where we want to go.
Well said. So I think it's a good way to begin to wrap things up here on this barbecue edition of Cincinnati Soccer Talk.
And the Squirrel said to tell Yosef's mom that his birthday's next week.
I mean, it's on her envelope.
Put it on her envelope.
Put it on the envelope.
Oh, man, that is great. Just a reminder, you can rate and review the show on iTunes. If you want to go get subscribed, you can go over to CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/iTunes. You can also email us feedback at CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com. Follow us on Twitter at CincySoccerTalk. As I mentioned earlier in the show, we will be doing some live streaming, fingers crossed, tomorrow from Fountain Square. We'll also have some audio coverage, most likely from Rheingeist for the event. Maybe we'll be able to get some video footage. Still working out those details because Subs decided to leave Toledo without his camera bag. Smooth.
Rookie.
Was too worried about getting some Skyline cheese conies and just, I dropped
Double
the ball
hot
on that
dog?
one.
Who
Double
does
hot dog?
that?
Yeah, double wiener buns with cheese. You like that? Yeah, I said wiener. We went there. Oh, man. Anyway.
You went to a GCL school. We know.
Is that earn us an explicit rating now?
That's not a bad word.
My son's gonna make, Dad, what's that word?
The funny thing was a couple years ago I said what I thought was winger, and you guys all heard the other word, and they've never let me hear the end of it. So yes, I actually did mean it tonight.
We didn't. I was gonna say we didn't think we heard the other word. We heard the other word. Right.
Yeah. Anyway, as we transition on, Brian Weigel, final thoughts as we begin to wrap up.
Sure. I meant to mention this earlier. Is with Save the Crew, a bunch of FC Cincinnati supporters led by, I believe, Gary Randolph. Go check him out on Facebook, social media, Twitter. They're doing a FC Cincinnati or Cincinnati supporters are going up to share their support, lend their support to Save the Crew on June 9th as the Crew play Toronto FC. So that could be something pretty special if you want to go up there and check it out.
Isn't that their rivalry game? Crew in Toronto used to be their rival, right?
Trillium Cup. Yeah. So no, it just check it out. I know there's a lot of things going on, a lot of things that we have to worry about with our own house, but it's nice to just keep your eye on the ball with a couple other things.
Good stuff, Bri. As always, appreciate you being with us. Looking forward to hanging out all day tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully sweating a little bit in Ryan, guys.
We
I
will
keep hearing.
be sweating.
Sunscreen will be important.
I just we were joking about this. I kind of want to meet some of the other MLS reporters. I'm gonna be geeked out if Brian Strauss is there, Ivis Glarsep. So pretty excited.
Good stuff, Bri. Appreciate you being with us. Yosef, your final thoughts?
My final thought goes out to me actually making the same mistake that the media reporter who made the lineups last week did, where I said Richie Ryan's birthday, but it's actually Spencer Ritchie's birthday.
His mom texted him right away, "You did it wrong."
Oh, that's great.
She obliged me and told me, thank you for saying that, but I was wrong. So, yeah.
So that wasn't Spencer Ritchie in the midfield?
I mean,
Didn't
I
look
think
like
I
him.
think his birthday's still the 30th. So,
Well, happy birthday, Spencer.
I don't know how birthdays work in Ireland. I think they work on a different calendar, right?
But it's not.
The days are
Ireland.
inverted.
I'm confused now. So is it Richie Ryan's birthday or Spencer?
It's Spencer.
Okay.
Jeez, I was just wrong.
All right. Well, Yosef, appreciate you being with us this week. I was glad we got a chance to hang out. Yosef is sporting an Iceland kit tonight. Not the orange and blue, but that's a pretty spiffy Iceland kit you got there.
I know.
Can you
right?
say the name that's on the back? $10 says you can't.
I got it. Oh, spell it?
Oh,
Oh, well, they
say
spelled it
it.
wrong on the back. Did they?
Sig Thorson.
It should be Sigurdsson, right?
No, there's a Sig Thorson on
There's
there,
many
too.
people from Iceland.
Oh,
There doesn't have to be like one
I'm a
guy.
Spurs fan. I wouldn't have known.
So-
Yes,
only one
there
guy.
is there is a Sig Thorson on their team, I believe.
Yeah. I
Something,
didn't want to be
Viking
basic.
class.
He's probably not very
I didn't
good.
I didn't get the Spurs player or like the what is he now at whatever. Anyway, he's on some team that I didn't want to be.
Where'd
I didn't
he
want to be
go?
the one who got
go to
the
Everton?
known Iceland player. I had to get the
Yeah,
low
so
key
frustrating.
Iceland
Pour
player.
one out for Aaron Johansson.
R.I.P.
Oh, jeez. Yosef, appreciate you being with us. The Wolfman. Oh. That's a terrible wolf howl. I tried my best, Bill. Final thoughts as we get out of here?
Sound like a puppy.
Let's see. I feel bad for Richie Ryan since it's not his birthday, but congratulations on his job at Kings. Hammer.
Yeah,
As
that's
coach,
a fantastic hire, yeah.
Right? So yeah. See, what am I thinking? I'm thinking that it's going to be a grand adventure here. It all begins tomorrow. I hope everyone's excited, but I hope everyone remains patient.
Well, you don't want MLS Cup in year one, Bill?
No, actually, I'm going to caution against that. I'm going to say, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's get excited about the fact that we're in the MLS, but let's also be realistic.
LA Golden Knights did it.
Yeah. Were they playing in Nippert Stadium? Or, no. But
It's a dangerous trend they just set this year.
Right.
No, but honestly, guys, I mean, we all know that we need a soccer-specific stadium.
Yep.
We know that the money needs to be there to fund players. So let's be excited about our team. Let's get behind our team. Let's support our team. But let's not set our sights so high and think we're gonna like dominate the league next year. We are going to be playing with a handicap, playing in a rented stadium for a couple years. But it's going to be a fun time, and we'll learn a lot. And then when we get that beautiful new stadium, that jewel of the Queen City. It's going to be a lot of fun, and then we'll just take over.
Hey, just so you know, this underdog last year went to the U.S. Open Cup semifinal.
Yeah.
Over like 34 games, though. We'll see.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Well, we appreciate you being with us this week, Bill. And I know you were drumming hard over the weekend.
Yep. Never quit.
Yep.
Never
Well-
quit. Played louder as the game went on.
Yep. Well, appreciate you being with us, and looking forward to hanging out again tomorrow. Last but not least, Brad, thank you as always for hosting our.
Dude, no
This is the second CST party that we have had here. We're still waiting on Griffin to show up. He must
Yep.
not have got his invitation. I think it was lost in the mail.
It's a fine.
We're kidding, Griff.
He's got a fine.
It's a
Yeah.
fine.
He's got a fine.
No, we're kidding. But thank you again for hosting us. We really do appreciate it. Thank you to your wife Ashley as well for putting up with us.
She's a saint. But
Yep.
real quick, before I want to get a little, thank you to all the beautiful, beautiful people in Build It here.
Yeah.
Seriously. Max Ellerby, Chris White, Jack Emery, Kevin Wallace, Brew, people I didn't mention, Bill
Colin
Wolf,
Hill.
Colin Hill,
Yep.
all y'all. Great job. I mean, you guys took a lot of crap for a long time, and that will not be forgotten quickly in this group. And if any of you have to buy a beer tomorrow, for shame. So I just want to appreciate all you guys, all you do. There are opportunities at this point in time, which I'm sure the whole story will come out. But this thing could have gone to Newport. It could have gone away entirely.
Yeah.
And every single time that you guys were asked to step up, you did, and you brought a whole group of people with you. So tip of the cap to y'all. I just appreciate every single thing you've done, and
Yeah.
I cannot wait. This is something that I think special. FC Cincinnati is going to be something special, and I can't wait to leave it to my kids. And forever, I will be thankful to all you guys who stepped up and helped lead the way for us.
I just hope that maybe Jeff Birding takes a moment and maybe symbolically allows those guys to show up at the construction site and do like the first shovel day.
Oh, that'd
They
be cool.
100% should have a
That would be
shovel.
an awesome moment.
Golden
really
shovel for those guys.
Yeah.
Is that your?
That was
like,
it. That's all I
was
wanted.
that a message you were sending Jeff right there?
Yeah,
Because we know he's
hey,
watching.
Hey, Jeff. Yeah, but I think that would be really cool, right?
Yeah, I would.
Build
I
it
agree.
here,
Yeah.
it puts the first shovel into the ground.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well said, Brad. And again, thank you very much. I'll let you know if I need a bed tonight.
Mama,
She's
is the door
gonna
going
have-
to be open or not, Mama?
She's gonna have a bed for you. She's gonna wash the sheets but not dry them. Throw them on the bed.
Doghouse.
Yeah. My final thoughts as we get out of here. I go back to February of 2016 when we started this thing. We were excited about the team going down to IMG and winning the Suncoast Classic in their first ever, I guess, unofficial tournament. But I think at that point we had done maybe 2 episodes of Cincinnati Soccer Talk. And here we are, episode 118. We've done almost over 160 episodes of the show if you include March to Match Day. If you include all the page views and it just the way CST has grown since that initial podcast has been remarkable, and it's been an absolute joy to be along for this ride. I cannot thank our supporters enough, cannot thank our listeners enough. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. So as you're celebrating tomorrow there at Fountain Square or at Rheingeist, make sure you stop by, say hello. We're hoping to be doing some live streaming tomorrow from the square. We're thinking ballparking it right around 8 o'clock tomorrow night, depending on what all is going on, how soon we can get over to Fountain Square, because I know some of us are going to be over at Rheingeist. But we hope that we see you there. We want to hear from you. We want to know your thoughts on this whole crazy process. Here it is. It's May, almost June. We thought there's no way this was a lock. They were going to have this done by December. Here we are 6 months later, and it's finally done. And, man, it's so good. I know for years being a soccer fan and being a Bengals fan, having to put up with, I'm not going to badmouth the crew because I was never a crew guy, but I'd always wished that we had an MLS team in our town and never thought for a second it would ever happen. And here we are. It's pretty dang cool. So enjoy tomorrow. It's going to be Orange and Blue Day. Mayor Cranley has announced it as I don't know if is it an official holiday tomorrow?
Yeah.
Everybody's off. You don't have to go into work.
I didn't say that. So if you get in trouble from
Hey, Jeff, I don't have to go to work tomorrow? I thought I only had a half day.
Yeah,
Hey, Jurgen Klinsmann
you work
had
in Newport.
a letter for the World Cup 4 years ago for everybody.
Oh yeah, well that's a good point. I remember that. Yeah. We won't need that this year. Oh, I went there. Anyway, thank you to everybody who's tuned in live tonight here on Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you get subscribed to the podcast so you don't miss a single episode of our show. March to Match Day coming up this week, Brian. You're going to be talking to the Red Bulls guys?
We'll see. I think we have a lot.
I totally don't blame you there.
I really want to,
Sorry.
but at the same point, like I think
We got a lot
my wife's
on our
gonna kill
plate.
me.
Yeah, we got a lot on our plate
Yeah.
this week. And honestly, that's almost going to take a back burner this week.
Honestly, I want to do it justice, but I think we'll probably try to do something for Minnesota, honestly. And I don't want to disrespect our team out there, but
Sure.
there's only so much we can do.
Yeah, I'm with you. Totally agree there. But again, don't.
Yeah, I'll say real quick. Think about this. We talked about national team a minute ago.
Yeah.
3.5 years from now, we could have an FC Cincinnati player in the World Cup.
Yeah, we could.
Can we do something real quick?
Yeah.
Can we do like our favorite moment and our least favorite moment since
Of the process?
our show started?
Ooh.
Or maybe bold statements?
For the show?
Yeah.
So our favorite
Favorite
moment.
show moment.
Or just something interesting.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say our bold prediction for year one is we thought Omar Muhammad was gonna be awesome.
Oh yeah.
That was interesting. Didn't play out how we wanted to.
No, then.
But I don't know. My favorite might have been our Christmas party, Yosef.
Oh man.
Dude, that was so cold.
Do you remember?
No, honestly, though,
That was the coldest night ever.
No.
Freezing.
I just think we've been through a long process here,
remember
and I
that.
think it's
The casino, right?
honestly, I think the first time we did a live show at Bucketheads last year,
I wasn't there.
you weren't there, but seeing how many people kind of came out,
Yeah.
I thought that was probably one of the most special moments.
Yeah.
Seeing that we actually you had people that liked us.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
How about you, Yo?
Man,
Putting you on the spot.
The fire alarm show.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's Griff's.
I don't have like a least
Griff,
favorite.
hang up. Griff, hang up.
I don't have a least favorite moment with you guys. Love you all too much.
The
but
Coney phone.
I don't
That was
know.
a good one.
Yes.
I think my I don't know. It's not a favorite moment within us, but it's always really nice. Like I went to the FIFA tournament this weekend, where or this past weekend, not. And my outcome wasn't great, and I don't need to elaborate on that. But
How old was she? Was she 10?
no, I was not a Griffin. But someone came up to me and they're like, oh, hey, Yosef. And I was like, I feel like kind of a jerk because I don't know your name. And he's like, oh, you don't know me, I know you. And I'm like, really, though, with this podcast, though, it's, I understand that it's a fun thing we do, but it's funny to me that people will see us and be like, that's a quote unquote famous person. So
Your microphone broke there for a second.
So I enjoy that this provides a connection point with everybody that we do with FCC. So anyway,
Very good, bud.
What?
My favorite moment. My turn.
Yeah.
Every time Bill from Kentucky calls.
Grandesto.
How is Grindisto doing?
Every single time.
He's still locked up.
I think he's out.
I wonder if we'll see him tomorrow. You think they'll let him out?
I don't know.
He should have
I
called.
think he challenged something from that Matt Bevin did, so we'll see.
He's been quiet.
He has been quiet.
He has been.
Yeah, those are good times when Bill calls in. We certainly miss those.
Paul from Anderson's a close second.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
That
You got any
counts.
favorite moments, Bill?
I'd probably go back to the Miami game. It was a blast, certainly with the rain, but I think the one we actually played,
Yeah.
where I was the lone drummer, and we had no capo at all. So we had a couple guys standing in doing their best. It was as raw and ugly as it got.
Kind of like the game.
but we got the job done on
Yeah.
both on and off the pitch. Right, it was a lot of fun. And then I would just go, as far as like a bold prediction or a bold thing, I'm going to go completely different than you, Brian. I'm going to go, wouldn't it be incredibly cool if Carl Linder would take an ad out in the New York paper and just say, "You're welcome"?
So it'd be like Zlatan, but not douchey. So
Almost like Tampa Bay.
Oh man. I'm trying to think. I've had a lot of favorite moments. I go to the first foot golf event, the only one I've been to. That was a fun day.
That was a blast.
I enjoyed that day because Griffin slipped and fell, and that was a classic.
Samba's never.
Hashtag Black Sambas.
The only video I got of you kicking.
Oh,
Torrential
into the
downpour.
woods.
Into
That
the
was
woods.
bad.
Torrential downpour.
Torrential downpour, furthest hole from the clubhouse. That was brutal.
You guys were messed up. Joseph and I had golf carts.
Yeah.
Malay doing donuts.
Yes. Yes.
Holy crap.
those guys gotta hate us at that
Oh,
golf course
man.
for
Jamie
all
Dell.
Jamie Dell and Narbonne and
Wasn't Ripple there?
Yeah.
Alvaro.
Alfred.
Oh,
Golly.
dude. And you just see Michael Malai bust out of there, bust around the corner in front of like Birding and all these guys, and just it was like 360 right in front. I was like, oh shit.
He's a great dude, man.
Yes.
One of the all time.
That was a good time. Our live show from the American Sign Museum was a good memory for me, mainly because I predicted a shootout win against the Fire. That was pretty rad.
You weren't feeling that when we were trying to get the internet connection to work.
Oh, that was
yeah.
super stressful. Yeah. But no, I mean, all of these memories have been good.
Your mother.
Oh, great.
What'd she say?
First caller.
Oh, Mom is the first caller. That's
First
right.
caller, yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Mom, for calling in. Yeah, I mean, all the memories have been tremendous. The relationships. I think the biggest thing is the relationships we've built. None of us knew one another.
And we got pranked by WAPN.
Yeah, that's right.
We have more
yeah.
listeners than they do, so that's cool.
Hashtag your channel.
Correct.
There's that.
But no, I mean, think about it. If FC Cincinnati doesn't form, this isn't happening tonight.
Yeah.
I'll be forever grateful for even if things don't go well in MLS in year one. the journey has been remarkable. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Liverpool fan, so I'm used to like my soccer team depressing me, so it's fine.
If you only had Mitch Hildebrandt.
Oh, yeah. On that note, I believe it's time we begin to wrap things up. Again, make sure you get subscribed to our stuff. CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/iTunes is where you can do that. So we're on Spotify, TuneIn, Google Play, Stitcher, anywhere you can find podcasts. Make sure you find us on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel there because we're going to be uploading some content here over the next few days. Hopefully, if we can get a video camera situation sorted out tomorrow. In the meantime, for Brian Weigel, Joseph Sagai, Bill Wolf, the Wolfman, Brad Weigel, I'm Subs, reminding you to watch your tackles. Enjoy Orange and Blue Day tomorrow, and we will see you all next week.